everybody. Today I'm going to review RIDGID's brand new Gen 5X model R86035 quarter-inch hex impact driver. Now this is actually one of, if not the most powerful impact driver on the market today, and it's putting out up to 2,000 inch-pounds of torque. So what I want to do in this video is actually give you some closer-up views at this. We're going to go over the different features, and then I'm going to do extensive runtime testing with it so you can see the type of performance that it's going to give you. Here's a closer look at the impact driver, and the first thing I want to point out with this is going to be the rubber overmolds that they have built in. Now, it's going to prevent it from sliding around when you set it down, and it's also going to prevent it from damaging a surface such as hardwood floors when you're not using it. Now, you do need to keep in mind if you use one of the metal included belt clips and you set it down on that belt clip, then it is going to scratch the surface. So if you do use those, just make sure you're going to set this down with that facing up. Now, the other thing I want to point out is the fact that this is the most powerful cordless impact driver on the market today, and it's coming in at up to 2,000 inch-pounds of force. They have 3 different power modes, and it's very easy to switch between the 3 of them because there's a little selector switch on the top. You can see 1, 2, and 3, 3 being the most powerful, and then 1, of course, being for very delicate work. Now, the nice thing about the chuck on this is it is a quick release chuck that doesn't require any special tools or even 2 hands to operate. Just using 1 hand, you can pull it out and the bit will pop out. And then to reinstall the bit, you just line it up and then press it into place and it's locked in. So it doesn't require 2 hands to install or remove, it only requires 1. On the front of it, there are 3 LEDs that are going to light up, so you'll be able to see what you're working on. And that can be activated by pulling the trigger, which is going to spin the bit around. But let's say you want to just use it as a flashlight, or you don't want to spin the bit around. They have a separate switch down here on the bottom of the grip that you can press in. It's going to activate the light, and it does have a time delay, so it is going to stay on for a few seconds after you release that. Now finally, the battery is also going to be on that slide rail system. It's going to pop on and off very easily. And because the battery does not extend up into the handle, they didn't have to make it oversized. And if you even have small or medium-sized hands, this is still going to be very comfortable to use. For the runtime test on the impact driver, I'm going to have it in speed mode or power mode 3, which is 2,000 inch-pounds. And we're going to be driving 3-inch coarse thread coated duck screws into a 6x6 pressure treated post. Okay, we're at 382, which is going to be a complete 5-pound box of the 3-inch screws. Now I'm going to go ahead and open up a second 5-pound box and continue. Okay, we were able to make it through 434 of the 3-inch coarse thread deck screws, going into a 6x6 pressure treated post on just one battery charge. Now for that more precise work, like removing and installing doorknobs where you're working with very small fasteners, and in this case brass screws, you really want to move those power levels down to 1, which is going to be the precision or low torque mode. That way when you put it on the fastener and remove it, it's not going to strip anything out. You can see we could remove the screw very easily, and even though this is an extremely powerful impact, because we can turn the power levels down, we can still work with small fasteners like this without worrying about damaging them. I just put a socket adapter on here along with a 1/2-inch impact socket, and I'm going to drive 3 3-inch lag screws into this pressure treated post. Now let's see the job it does driving this 10-inch construction lag. Okay, and now just to see if it'll do it, I have a 5/8-inch lag here with a 24mm head on it. I do have a 1/2-inch adapter on the impact driver along with a 6.24mm impact socket. Let's see if it'll drive this into the post. Yep, it was able to sink it below the surface, and that is just a tremendous amount of power RIDGID was able to put into this. The new impact driver on speed mode 3 is putting out the 2,000 inch-pounds of torque, and even when you figure in the torque loss because we were using an adapter, it still had more than enough force to drive that lag screw into the post, and it actually sunk it below the surface. To test out the 3 different speed or power modes on the impact driver, I have 3-inch deck screws here that I'm going to be running into stacked 2x4s. Now on the first one, I'm going to have it on the speed mode 1, which is going to be the low speed or low power setting. The second one will be on speed mode 2, and then finally the third one is going to be on the high speed, which is going to be 2,000 inch-pounds of torque. Now what I have are 3-inch deck screws. I'm going to go ahead and run those into the stacked 2x4s now, and we'll see what kind of power and performance you're going to get out of this. So there you go. Speed mode 1 could sink it all the way. It really took a long time, but that is because that is a precision mode. That is not for driving very large fasteners. Now we'll go ahead and bump that up to speed mode 2 and drive another one that is identical right next to it. That drove it all the way to the surface, and you can see it did a good job. Much faster. But now let's bump that up to speed mode 3, which is going to be the 2,000 inch-pounds of torque. And you can see I sunk that below the surface without even trying, because it does put out that tremendous amount of torque in speed mode 3. So now you've seen RIDGID's brand new Gen 5X 1/4-inch hex impact driver for yourself. This thing's extremely comfortable in your hand, and the power and runtime is absolutely amazing. We were able to put in over 5 pounds of those 3-inch screws into the pressure treated post before the battery finally died. And then when we tried it out with that extreme test with that very large 5/8-inch lag, it was able to sink that below the surface with no problem at all. Now because this is a RIDGID power tool, it is going to be covered by their lifetime service agreement. So as long as you register it when you buy it and submit your Home Depot receipt online, they are going to cover it as far as free batteries, free parts, and free service for life. If you like this video, please click like. If you like my channel, please click subscribe. And thanks for watching.